Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Unfortunately, I have some disturbing news to report out of the city of Jacksonville, Florida, where a young man in his early 20s, for the lack of a better term, decided to take the lives of two men and one woman, innocent people at the dollar store in Jacksonville, Florida. It seems that he was attempting to do harm to people, students on the campus of the nearby college, but he was turned away by campus security. And people, he didn't want there to be any mistake about his intentions. He left at least 4 manifestos about his mindset and his intentions, and they were definitely hate-filled. Right now, we're going to hear from Sheriff T.K. Waters.
So thank you all for joining us this evening. Tonight, I stand side by side with our law enforcement partners, our mayor, city leaders, to share the heartbreaking news that Jacksonville has suffered the loss of 3 precious lives at the hands of an active shooter. This afternoon, a little after 1 p.m., an individual we have not yet officially identified entered a Dollar Tree in the Newtown area of Jacksonville, outfitted with a tactical vest, armed with an AR-style rifle and a handgun. Then the shooter killed 3 people before turning the gun on himself, taking his own life. Other than the 3 individuals killed and the shooter himself, there are no additional people who suffered gunshot wounds. We are not identifying the deceased victims at this time, but I can tell you that there are 2 male victims and 1 female victim. All of the deceased victims are black. Multiple units from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office responded to this active shooter scene, as did members of Jacksonville Fire Rescue, our mayor, and city leaders. We are still in the very early stages of this investigation, so there's a lot of information that we don't know at this time. I will share with you the information that I have been able to verify. The shooter was believed to have resided in Clay County with his parents. He was involved in a 2016 domestic call in Clay County with no arrest. In 2017, he did have a Baker Act. We know that at 11:39 a.m. today, Sheriff Cook gave us information that he left Clay County, headed to Jacksonville. At 1:18 p.m., he texted his father and told his father to check his computer. At 1:53 p.m., the shooter's family members called the Clay County Sheriff's Office. By that time, he had already began shooting in Jacksonville. The Clay County Sheriff's Office, who has been assisting our agency with this investigation, received information after the shooting that the shooter had authored several manifestos, 1 to his parents, 1 to the media, and 1 to federal agents. Portions of these manifestos detailed the shooter's disgusting ideology of hate. Plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated, and he hated black people. He wanted to kill. That's the one and only time I'll use that word. I want to be very clear that there is absolutely no evidence that the shooter is part of any large group. We know that he acted completely alone. If you take a look at the images on the screen, you'll be able to see what he utilized. The weapons that the shooter used today are a Glock and an AR-15 style rifle. This is a dark day in Jacksonville's history. Any loss of life is tragic, but the hate that motivated the shooter's killing spree adds an additional layer of heartbreak.
A witness said he was just moments away from walking into the store, but realized he had no money, so he went to another store nearby. Moments later, he said he heard gunshots ring out and saw the shooter was firing at cars. He then witnessed a man fall back and another woman running away. Sweet mercy. Police have cordoned off the scene on Kings Road, which happened in front of Cascades apartment. This is unacceptable, Mayor Deegan said. One shooting is too much, but these mass shootings are really hard to take, and they really are. She was spotted at the scene speaking to emergency services. The suspect was seen on the EWU campus before the shooting. A suspicious man is said to have been spotted putting on a ballistics vest behind the library. I mean, what do you need that for? Security tried to catch him, but he managed to escape, a source said. Staff at EWU sent an alert out to students to warn them and ask them to remain in their resident halls. Left his home at 11:39 to head down to Jacksonville and texted his father to tell him to check his computer. At 1:53 p.m., his parents called the sheriff's office to report the manifesto they had found, but by this time he had already begun his assault. And you know they can find out the time his parents actually opened that email. And the mass shooting that happened 5 years ago on the same date, where 2 people were killed and 10 were hurt in an attack at a video game tournament, that was on August 26, 2018, the same exact date. Governor Ron DeSantis
able to speak with Sheriff T.K. Waters in Jacksonville about the horrific shooting that took place. This shooting, based on the manifesto that they've discovered from the scumbag that did this, was racially motivated. He was targeting people based on their race. That is totally unacceptable. This guy killed himself rather than face the music and accept responsibility for his actions, and so he took the coward's way out. But we condemn what happened in the strongest possible terms. We've offered support for Sheriff Waters and the city of Jacksonville, and we send our condolences to the victims and their families who were the victims of a very cowardly act.
It'll be interesting to hear what President Joe Biden has to say about all this. He was briefed about the shooting. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is closely monitoring the situation. Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said in a statement on Saturday, "Too many Americans in Jacksonville and across our country have lost a loved one because of racially motivated violence. The Department of Homeland Security is committed to working with our state and local partners to help prevent another such abhorrent, tragic event from occurring," he said. District 13 State Representative Angie Nixon, who represents the neighborhood, said the situation was tragic. "These are the things that we want to try to avoid by making sure that our communities are fully resourced, making sure we're creating a climate of love and not tension." Well, if people are coming from outside of the community to do harm to your community, I just don't know. Councilwoman Jacoby Pittman said she was devastated to see more upset across the community. "I'm tired of seeing all these shootings," Pittman said. "The people in this community are hurting." The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and Jacksonville Fire and Rescue were seen responding to the scene. Some officers and crew were seen leaving the area just before 4:15 p.m. She added that the alleged shooter was dead, but it's not clear how he died. North and southbound lanes of King Street near the Canal Street intersection have been blocked off. Residents were asked to avoid the area. Jacksonville has a population of 971,000 and 30% of its residents are Black. Dollar General released a statement Saturday evening following the shooting. "We are heartbroken by the senseless act of violence that occurred at our Kings Road store in Jacksonville, Florida today. At this time, supporting our Jacksonville employees and the DG family impacted by this tragedy is a top priority as we work closely with law enforcement." So this news is terrible. And for sure, if we see anything out of line, out of hand in our communities, we see strange individuals, it's very important to report that and alert people around you. We just have to do whatever we can. We can't let people just go around terrorizing. I mean, something's really deeply wrong in a young man's head just to have no concern for life like that. No concern for his own life and no concern for the lives of other people. And his family is going to have to live with this scar. All of these families are going to have to live with this. It's just really tragic. And if you know anybody that is struggling, whatever color you are, whatever neighborhood you come from, whatever economic status you have, try to get these individuals help. Reach out. You might just be saving a life, and possibly the life you might be saving is your own, because when individuals have just no concern for their own life, that's a very sad and dangerous situation. Thank you so much for joining me. Y'all be good. Peace.